So the next movement for the red light series is called flower, and it is using arch and flatten like what we've just done, but we're going to add the arms and the upper back in. So hopefully it's not too overwhelming, there's not too much to remember, but it also gives you the ability to pick and choose which kind of almost like a variation of arch and flatten that you want to do. And this also allows you to breathe that tiny bit deeper because we're going to release into the muscles of the chest a little bit as well. So it starts to let you sense further up the torso. And we've started kind of at the middle and the bottom, and now we're working it up to the top half. So for this, I'm going to break down what we're going to do with the arms. So if we come into our lying down position, knees bent, feet in the floor, I'd like you to take a moment to let your arms be further away from the torso. It may be that you can get them as high as your shoulders. Don't go too high, you don't want to be right up in the air. But if that's too uncomfortable, you're more than welcome to allow them to be slightly lower than the shoulders as well. It will still work. And before we thought of our pelvis as a rolling pin, now we're going to think of our arms as rolling pins instead. So I'm just going to change my position so hopefully you can see me a little bit better. I'm going to start with the right arm just so you can see, and then we're going to bring both arms in. But just to start with, maybe explore rolling the right arm on the spot. So roll it up and roll it down. And we're not doing snow angel. So I don't want you to slide or sweep your arm up. I want you to literally keep it on the spot, but roll it up and roll it down. And notice that as you roll the arm upwards, the shoulder presses back into the floor, and as you roll your arm downwards, it pushes the shoulder towards the ceiling, and there you've got some tension in your chest. So that when you roll your arm up and your shoulder presses back, it might help you bring some awareness to your shoulder blade and notice that you're getting a contraction in the rhomboid muscle that's behind the shoulder blade. So what if we were to do two arms together? And we spiral the two arms up and we spiral the two arms down and get both shoulders rolled off the mat. You might notice as you do this, the shoulder blade, it moves, it slides up and down with the arm movement. But it might be that you've got a little bit more awareness in one arm over the other. That could be for various reasons. It could be that because you're dominant on one side, there's a lot more brain activity being given to that side of the body over the years. It could be that it's where your pain is, and so there's a lot more to notice. Or it actually could be that it's because it's not where the pain is, and so it's easier to feel. It could be anything going on for you. So just bear that in mind as you're moving. Okay, so this is the arms. And as you put the two together and you spiral both arms up, you're going to feel both shoulder blades squeeze. And it's almost like, without strain or force, just roll them as much as comfortable, but it's almost like your upper back is arching. And then as you roll the arms down and the shoulders roll off the mat, and let that happen, don't try and restrict that, let the shoulders really roll off the mat. It might be that it's like your upper body is flattening. So what would it be like to add the arch and flatten back into this movement? Let's see. As we inhale, roll the arms up and send your lower back into an arch. So you spiral the pelvis down, but you spiral the arms up. You're moving the two ends of the body away from each other. The shoulders go up, the pelvis goes down. Feel that big squeeze on the back, but notice that your chest is nice and wide and long, and your belly is nice and soft and relaxed. So that as you exhale and flatten, you can tuck the tailbone under as the pelvis rolls up. You can spiral the arms down and let the shoulders lift so that you've got this shrinking and this tightening through the front of the body, and the back is nice and wide and long. Don't forget to move your chin along with this. Inhale and arch. Exhale and flatten. And let those arms spiral along with the movement. And so if it helps to coordinate it any better, this movement is called flower, because it's almost like we're creating an open and a closing of the body. As we inhale and arch, we've opened. It's like a flower in bloom. The front of the body is exposed. It's radiating towards the sunshine, and the back is lifting off the floor. So now as we exhale and flatten, we are closing the front of the body. It's like everything is shortening. If you had petals, they would be folding over, and it's trying to move away from the sun. It might be that you can come up with a better analogy for that, but inhale and arch, exhale and flatten, allowing those arms to flower along with you, helping the front of the body expand, and then the front of the body sink and shrink. Meanwhile, the exact opposite is happening through the back of the body. We just can't see it because it's on the floor, but I'm sure if you were to just give yourself 10 to 20 seconds to notice the back, you would feel it happening. And if you can't, that's okay. Sensing is something that we have to keep working on. And that is flower. So if you have a day where your back is particularly painful, but so are your shoulders, it might be that it's quite nice to start off with a little bit of arch and flatten to find the movement. Remind yourself of what you're doing, and then slowly add the arms into it, so that you don't have to make it two very separate movements. You could just start with one, and then when you feel ready, you can bring yourself to neutral so that you can go into flower. And that way, it's much less dissected, and there's a nice flow with the movement as well. And this can really help to calm anxiety down. It's not a standalone treatment for anxiety, but it's certainly a tool that can be used in conjunction with other tools to help with anxiety. And it can help with shortness of breath, not to be mistaken for going to the doctors if you are feeling shortness or tightness of breath. But if you know that maybe you are a bit stressed and you're not taking deep enough breaths, you can get on the floor and you can use this as a tool and a way of getting into that as well. And it's just nice to calm everything down after a day in the office, at work. Maybe you've done a workout and you want to just bring your body back to some kind of resting state. It has a whole host of benefits, this movement, so enjoy exploring, and I hope you have fun with that particular one.